Miami has the most lucrative first-year deal on the table for five-star offensive tackle Jackson Cantwell, sitting around the $2 million mark. Steve, what can you tell us about this? Any insight, how you feel about it, etc.?
Well, I think Georgia right now may have edged ahead. And this is where being mediocre for 20, 25 years has hurt Miami. If they would have played at a higher level, I don't even think they need to go that much on the NIL. What they are trying to do is to make up for a lot of mediocre football. And when you go up against certain brands and certain programs like Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, you got to pay a little bit more to talk these kids into rebuilding that tradition. So I don't know what's going to happen. As of 2-3 weeks ago, a lot of the Miami insiders like Danny Money, my good friend, my other good friend Gio Milian, they all thought Miami was tracking well. As of right now, the word is he could be headed to Athens, and I believe he's making another visit there this weekend. The advantage Miami has outside the money is that they have one of the very best offensive line coaches in all of football, Alex Mirabal. Very highly regarded. Mario Cristobal's right-hand guy. And one thing that Mario's been able to do throughout his career is to develop and to coach good offensive fronts. So that's going to be the selling point, is that if there's one position that Miami's been pretty good at, it has been that particular unit under Cristobal. And look, they're going to have a top 15 pick in Mawanoa next season. Markel Bell will probably be drafted within the first 75 players. McCoy, guys like that, Cooper. They put a couple of linemen in the draft this year. So when Jalen Rivers, a center, got picked up free agency. But again, kids want two things. They want to win, they want instant gratification, and then the NIL. Miami fits some of those boxes. They don't check all of them.
I don't think winning. I don't even think winning's in the equation for these kids at all. Not at all.
Well, when you're look, I've been told that Georgia can sell that. Hey, we have a program that wins. I heard they don't go completely overboard on NIL. They don't. Although you have to now, though. I heard that Texas has a $40 million roster. Coach, I'm going to tell you right now, your boy Sarkisian, you better get home. I like Sark. I love the interview he did with Josh Pate. Your boy Sark, if he can't win with a $40 million roster, I'm just going to say you couldn't win with the $40 million roster.
That's the same heat. That's the same heat Day got, right?
Day had $20 million.
I'm saying though, he had to win though. Like that was the biggest roster. He had to win finally, and he got it done. I don't know. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know, man. I don't see it. I don't think the kids. I think that was just today's game. You either you hit or you miss. Even though you have a $20 million roster, Duke had a $25 million basketball roster, didn't get it done. I think you hit or you miss nowadays with these kids because they're so unpredictable. I don't think half of them want to play football. They just want the bag of money. The other half want to be pretty and look good on commercials and get an NIL deal. I don't think football.
Coach,
I think football's last.
Coach, I'm with you. We actually interviewed me and Mario because next week, for the next 2 weeks, Mario is going to be in New York with his NBC duty. So we had to do an evergreen show. We're only going to miss 1 week, but we interviewed Joe Tessitore. And I said to Joe, it's really interesting what's going on, how boxing and college football are kind of going through a similar issue in a sense that for years, everyone said, we need to pay these players. Oh, my God. And now you're paying them, and the same people are complaining that it's ruining college football. Okay. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
In boxing, everyone said, we got to pay the fighters, these poor fighters. Well, now they're getting paid a lot, and people are like, oh, now you've killed their hunger. Well, wait a minute. I thought it was about making sure the fighters were paid well.
Now you're blaming promoters, right? Now you're blaming promoters. And all
Thomas Sowell always talks about unintended consequences of things that look good philosophically. So it is interesting. I mean, Joe Tessitore, I don't think people realize it's always interesting to me when people on message boards or Twitter, when Joe will give an interview and they'll start questioning him. I don't think people realize how connected he is. He told me in 2010, when Colorado and Utah went to the Pac 10 to 12, he called me and we're talking. He said, Steve, you don't understand what's happening here. This is just a small move. And I go, really? Small? He goes, well, you're not going to recognize college football in about 15 years. This will be a seismic shift. And look at this thing now. I don't know if I like it, but all I know is Joe warned me about it.
Well, let's stay on topic. I want to stay on this NIL thing. Take a look at this running back who is replacing, I believe, Ashton Genty at Boise. Take a listen to what he had to say about NIL.
Money's not everything. The NIL money that we touch now, that's just pocket money. That's just stuff to keep you maintenance. That's stuff to probably take care of your family, but that's not everything. The real money, second league, second contract in the NFL, that's generational. And Ash showed us that. Like, he showed us that just because you got $1 million offers, football is still football. You still got to put in the work. Doesn't matter how much money you get. Work still got to be done. So he stayed there and worked. Now look, he's $31 million. And Las Vegas is tax-free. Come on, we smart. Me and J-Mo did the math. Like, hey, he's blessed. So just because God told him to stay patient and sit where your feet is, he did. Now,
let me ask you something real quick. I know Spencer. I know Danielson a little bit in dealings with him as an assistant at other places. Whatever he's doing, Dillingham's doing it as well, which I know very well. Whatever he's doing, the culture there it seems to be bought in there. The culture is starting to permeate throughout the player and the roster, regardless of who it is. And it just took one guy to catch that fire and catch that hay on fire because Ashton Genty telling everybody else this, and then you see other guys start to preach it. I'm wondering if certain programs can actually, the mid-major, get over the hump in a Boise or someone else who made the playoff. Arizona State made the playoff. I'm curious if the old way can still work in a new era with $40 million rosters in Texas.
Oh, no, I'm not really hopeful. Everyone wants instant gratification. And with these players having agents, people don't realize the agents are always casting a net saying, hey, I got a guy here that's pretty good that's looking to go to a P4. We just want you to know if we're available next season. We have 2 years of eligibility. So sometimes it's not really even the player or the coaches instigating this. So I have a question for that young man. I love his attitude. I like what he said. But let's say some Penn State or Ohio State or Alabama said, hey, you got 1 year of eligibility. We have a roster spot open. You can make a real contribution here. $1.25 million right now for 5 months. I mean, that's a tough decision. In theory, it's easy to be loyal. But as Chris Rock once said, a man is only as loyal as their options.
Man, you're right. I mean, I can sit here right now as a 31-year-old, whatever, and have a little bit of experience and say that, hey, I would stay loyal and I would stay. But to your point, Steve, me at 18, 19, but
right.
if a team offered me $1.25 million and me knowing my family situation, I don't see how I pass it up.
Smitty, let's say your last year produced at 250. We need a rotational tackle. You may not start. You're getting 250. Lafayette, here I come.
Hey, did you hear Monte Ball and T. Rich yesterday talk?
No, I got to get to that here. Were they arguing about who the best running back was?
Nah, Monte Ball, and then I on privately without telling Smitty, I got T. Rich to jump in because T. Rich won the Doak Walker Doak Walker. And Monte was like, I didn't get the Heisman or the Doak Walker. And he was like, I said, who won it? And he was like, Trent Richardson. And I was like, oh, shit. I texted Trent to get him on, and he came on surprising those guys. But he was like, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have left. I would like to think the culture mattered then. And we had these guys. But he goes, like Smitty just said, 18, 19. I'm the third back at the time behind. Who was he behind? Fucking White,
James White, and then Melvin Gordon, and then they
Clay, John Clay.
All of them did.
Yeah, all of it. The big three at that time. And he was like, I'm glad I stuck it out. But I brought this up, Steve, to your point. I want to bring this up to you real quick. These quarterbacks that are leaving at all-time high and entering the portal, and then the starter who was there goes down in spring ball, gets hurt. And that kid just left 2 days prior into the portal. This is the problem why I brought it up with Monte. I'm like, aren't you happy that you would never have had 39 touchdowns and 1,900 yards and been one of the most iconic seasons of all time if you would have left? And that's the problem I see now with these kids. They leave too early and they don't want to grind, and then they miss an opportunity to be great. And I think that's happening more than we're talking about because we don't see it anymore because we got fucking 10,000 cats in a portal waiting to jack each other off.
Coach, I want to tell you a story. I got a call 2 days ago from a guy that I would call a connected Miami booster and a real fan. And he said, Steve, I need to talk to you. Just something's going on. And I go, what's that? And I don't want to get into the names. I want to leave the names out of it. But such and such mother and player are very upset that Mario Cristobal brought in such and such player in the same position. And now they're already looking around. And I'm like, what? This is what you caused. This is the dynamic. And that player who's a little bit peeved, and I don't want to give away too much. Let's just put it this way. He just got there. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. And so and I had to explain to him the player that was brought into that room doesn't really technically play the same position and is going to be in a different role. And I said, tell the mother to calm down. You just got there. What do you – I mean, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to reveal the names, but this dynamic exists now that if you're a parent, guardian, agent, or handler, someone gets brought in. Here's the problem that coaches have to face. You're pissing off people in that room. So this is the reality.
Yeah.